My name is Christy, and today we have a truly extraordinary guest joining us. I'm so excited for this conversation. The amazing Julie Lewin. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you, Christy. So delightful to be
Oh,
here.
it's amazing. Now, guys, Julie is not your average medical intuitive, as the brilliant mind behind. How do I say this?
Harakira.
Arakira, amazing mind behind Arakira. I will get my tongue around that shortly.
Mm.
She is an accredited energy medicine modality. Julie has been on a fascinating journey exploring the world of metaphysics. Beautiful. Now, Julie has harnessed her unique experiences to redefine what holistic health can look like. She is all about blending health and metaphysical wisdom, and we can't wait to share her profound insights with all of you. Julie's journey is a testament to the power of embracing both science and spirituality. Her expertise in medical intuition and energy healing is truly awe-inspiring.
Thank
Now,
you.
Julie, it's an absolute honor to have you with us today. Your mission to help highly successful people embrace an expanded consciousness without
Yeah.
feeling the need to escape or renunciate their lives,
I'll renunciate. Yeah.
renunciate their lives in a truly, that I just feel like that is truly a really, truly remarkable mission. Would it be a mission, would you say?
It is a mission. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to delve into your wisdom today. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for this call.
I am as well. Now, I
Mm.
have a bit of a frog in my throat, so I'm going to see if I
Oh,
can clear that. I'll just
that's
mute for a
okay.
second.
Yeah.
Sorry for the people up there on TikTok, but let's see if I can clear it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You're
Sorry,
right.
guys.
No, we didn't even. Oh, I was going to say I couldn't hear it over on TikTok, but I have got it muted over here.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Beautiful. So, Julie, spiritual awakenings can be profound turning points in people's lives. Could you tell us about your own spiritual awakening and how it led you to the path that you're on today?
Absolutely. Look, I would say that the journey began when I was 25 and I was a new mum. My daughter Tash was 7 months old. I was I think it would be fair to say that I was lost. I,
Mm.
you know, now that I think about it, I got married the day after I turned 23. I thought I was so old. I think I was so young, and so then we decided to make babies, and we had baby, and then I thought, "What am I doing?" Like, I was thinking about leaving my husband, and I I don't think it was actually because of him. I think it was what was going on inside of me. And my school friend came and visited, and she could see that things were not grand, and she said, "You're going to see this psychic." And I said, "I no, no, no." It was like telling me I had a date with the devil, and she said, "Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes." And I said, "No, look, I haven't got the money." She said, "I'll pay." I said, "I haven't got any petrol." She said, "I'll pay." "I've got a baby," and she said, "I'll look after the baby." So she overcame all of my objections and took me to this clairvoyant. And, I was terrified. I was
Mm.
literally terrified. And in that reading, in his little flat in Brisbane, in a semi-dark room, and I thought, "What's going to happen to me?" And, he had a light shining at me. It was like being interrogated. And that was my first experience of transfiguration. So as he was
Yeah.
looking at my aura, I I was seeing all these faces move
Wow.
over his face, and it was probably the biggest hour of my life, and in that hour I'm gonna condense the first half hour
Mm.
into he said, if you keep going the way that you are, your marriage will fail. You will remarry quickly. That marriage will fail. You will be very unhappy, have very few happy moments in your life. You will be very ill in your 30s and 40s, and you will die at 53. So that's a half an hour condensed. And then he said, but you have a nun and a monk behind you, and you have an alternate destiny.
Wow.
And he said, if you choose that alternate destiny, your marriage will survive. You will overcome the illnesses in your 30s and 40s. You will live into your 90s. You will have many happy moments in your life, and you'll be of great benefit to the world.
Wow. Powerful.
And I went, oh, well, how do I do that? And he just went like this. And he kind of went back in his chair and he said, oh, I'm just the messenger. He said, you have to figure that out. He said, you have a gift of X-ray vision and you can see inside of people's bodies. So he, this is back in 1984. Like this is
wow.
back a long time ago. And he said, I've got this manual that I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember the Gestetner. So the Gestetner was this machine that you actually did by hand, and you typed with a typewriter that had keys that punched the thing into it was a specific sheet of something, and then you clicked it on, and then you just went like this, and it gestetted off copies. And then it had been stapled together, and it was in foolscap, so it was quite long. He said, you may borrow this, but I need it back. And you can read it, and that's where you can start. So that's what he did, and beautiful. I did return it. And it started me on my spiritual journey.
Wow.
And so that was the beginning. Yeah.
Wow. That's, I had a similar experience in my journey where I went to see a psychic. This is like a thing, right? And I've never actually shared this with anyone. And we sat at this table, and I was like, I didn't know what to expect. And the lady put the cards on the table, and the second she put the cards on the table, the energy went, whoop. And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and she goes, did you just feel, even she was shocked. She said, did you just feel that? I said, yes. She said, I feel like that what just happened is the tables were turned, and you're sitting in my seat, and you are the reader. You're here to teach this. And I was like, no, there's no way. No way. I mean, that led down to another conversation down the track with a download from spirit, but we both had the same experience of that energy. It was quite a pivotal moment for me too. So yeah, beautiful. I love that. And it's just, who would have thought that all we had to do was go and see, whether it's a psychic or you sort of even just through conversation, and you can have these really transformational, pivotal moments, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful. So Julie, I just want to congratulate you too, because I know I read somewhere that you were awarded top 10 energy healer in 2021.
I was.
And I'm curious, what does this recognition mean to you, and how has it influenced your work over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's been really, I didn't think that it would mean a lot. And I just followed, it was almost like a whim to actually be involved in that process. And it's actually, I think it's changed the trajectory of where I'm going. And just want to back up from that day, from that clairvoyant, my whole life has been devoted to the healing. And I just want to say, I've been married 40 years to the same man.
Yeah.
I am now 63, so I passed the 53 mark,
Yeah.
and I am happy every day. So I actually did change the direction of my life, and so I've spent all of this last 39 years in figuring out how to help people heal,
Mm.
and then to be recognized as top 10 energy healers in the world. It actually was a very proud moment, and so much has happened since then, in
Yeah.
that my daughter Tash and I, we joined forces, and we've been in business together for 3.5 years. And we've made the decision this year, and only in the last month or two, that we are going to activate the certification process of Arakira. So
Mm.
we are like right at the cutting edge of launching that. Our plan is that we share Arakira with the world, and we get people certified so that they can help other people. I can only do so much on my own,
Mhm.
but other people can be doing what I'm doing, because I've been testing that. Is it teachable? And yes,
Mm.
it is. And so I'm doing that. And then just last week, and you don't even know this, Christy, just last week, I was introduced to a beautiful woman in India, and she said, Julie, I work with a holistic center, and we're interested in collaborating with you.
Wow.
And she started the conversation with, we are doing science, we do evidence-based work here.
Mhm.
And I said, my work, this is my dream. My work has been anecdotal because,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to be a scientist and do research. And
Yeah.
she said, but Julie, we have a research center. We can do that research. So
Wow.
it's my
That's exciting, Julie.
exciting, that, and I think that's led from the top 10 energy healers. And
Yeah.
I started a podcast maybe in June, so not that
Mm.
long ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, with Dr. Vishal Rao in India, and
Yeah.
a world-renowned surgical oncologist
Wow.
who was introduced to me by his friend.
Mm.
And I'm running around going, "Oh my God, Dr. Vishal Rao wants to speak with me." And then he's saying over there, "You are my inspiration, Julie." And so we're kind of fanning on each other.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
we're doing that. So I believe that's come from that recognition.
Yeah, beautiful. I want to speak about Arakira. It
Mm,
sounds like a really powerful, really powerful
it is.
modality. Can
Yeah.
you explain to our listeners what Arakira is and how it differs from other energy healing approaches and how energy healing can help them on their journey?
Absolutely. So when I went home from that clairvoyant or that psychic reading, I didn't know what to do. So I lay in bed and I said, God, if you want
Mm.
me to do this, you have to show me how.
Yeah.
And so that kind of opened the door. And um, when I was 5 years old, I'm going to come back to when I was 5. I think my mum wanted time off from her children. So she sent us to Sunday school. And when I was at Sunday school as a 5-year-old, we got invited into the church. And it was a little Methodist church in Cairns. And someone was being baptized, and I think they wanted us to experience that. And so we were allowed to sit in the back, and we were singing, or they were singing this song called Telephone to Glory. Oh, what joy divine. You can speak to Jesus on the royal telephone line. I remember the words. And as they were singing that, I had this experience of being everything. And there was the light coming through the back door. There were dust particles floating in the air. And I was just in awe. So I had this experience of God as a 5-year-old.
Mm,
And I think that that has informed my whole life. I wouldn't
mm.
say that I'm religious,
Got goosebumps
but
listening to this.
I am incredibly spiritual and
Yeah,
connected and plugged
yeah.
in. And so that kind of was the core of everything that I've done in my life. And when I lay in bed and I said, God, please show me how, I started seeing visions, not just with my inner eye, my third eye, but on the ceiling in the bedroom. And, it was wild what I was
Mm,
experiencing. And so I started working with people after appearing on the TV. I just started, anyone who would let me, I would work with them. I'd say, I can do this thing. I can travel through your body and I can tell you what's happening. And then show the extraordinary 4 times and tens of thousands of letters coming in. I said, God, you've got to actually let me help these people and show me how to do that. So I started seeing these movies running in my mind. And then the people that I was working with, they'd say, what are you doing? And I'd say, can you feel that? And they'd say, yeah, feels like your hands are inside of me moving things around. I said, well, I'm thinking something. And they said, well, I'm feeling it. So I discovered accidentally maybe or
mm,
serendipitously how to access the phantom body. So scientists have proven that we have a phantom body and they've measured the phantom body. So if you got up from that chair there, walked away, they could still measure the exact blueprint of you. Yeah.
wow.
And they could do that for up to 24 hours, apparently.
Wow.
So I decided that I was going to explore that. So that's where my journey has gone, is in exploring the holographic body, which they later named the phantom body. And it's an exact blueprint. And so I did experience illness in my 30s and 40s. And I was in my 40s and I was experiencing these horrific migraines that was being squeezed, and I'd lie on the bed with a pillow over my eyes and suffer it. And then one of my friends said, Julie, would you like me to send you some healing? I said, that would be amazing. And so I was lying on my bed. It was midday. It was broad daylight.
Mm,
And I knew she had started because I could feel the energy. After 20 minutes, I was compelled to open my eyes. There was no ceiling
mm,
in my room. It was the universe. I could see the walls on the side, but I was looking in the
mm,
void. And then something incredible started happening. Gold symbols were falling through the void into me. And there was at least 20 and they were coming in. And when the last one landed in my body, the migraine that I'd had for like 10 days
mm.
disappeared like that. And I sat up and I said, what was that? And I heard this voice go, that's Akira. And I said, well, what's Akira? And the voice said, well, it's the alignment of the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies.
Mm,
And I went, surely that's not enough. And the voice went, all right then, Arakira, the revolutionary alignment of the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, auric, energy, and etheric bodies.
I just got
And I
goosebumps
said,
again.
how do I spell that? And the voice said Arikira. So I got up and I Googled that, and it was very close to the spelling of a Native American Plains people. And I sat in the chair, I rocked back, and I said, you can't call this after a tribe of people. And then it was seriously like the walls did this big breath out, or in and then out, and the voice said, all right, change I to double E. And that's how Arakira became. And I Googled that, and there was zero evidence of that word. And I said, okay, so this work that I've devoted my whole adult life to is called Arakira, and I trademarked it. So from that point, the work that I've done and developed has fallen under that word, the revolutionary alignment of all of those bodies. And then I had a lady from New Zealand fly over to have a retreat with me. And she said to me, Julie, do you want to know what Arakira means in Maori? I said, oh my gosh, I would love that. And she said, well, Ara means path. He means path. I can't remember now, but it's basically path to self-realization. And I thought, wow. And then one of my friends said, do you want to know what it is in Native American? And I said, I really like to know. She said, it's the same.
Yeah, wow.
And so I know that it's come through me, but it's not me, if that makes sense.
Totally.
I'm a vehicle. And early, like in that first few months after I had that clairvoyant reading, I said, God, where am I going with this? Like, what am I doing? Like, this is before the internet was even discovered. And you know how you have, I don't know if you have, but I had this experience where I translocated, and I was in a corridor behind a behind a stage. I could smell the mustiness. I could hear the click of my heels on the timber floor, and I was taken out onto a stage, and there were thousands of people there to hear what I had to say. So that was the experience I was given. So that was what I was working towards. And every bunch of years I'd go, okay, God, I'm ready now. And then these nightmares would start. And I'd go, oh, okay, I'm not ready. And then the nightmares would stop. So that went on for, I don't know, 30, 25 years.
Wow.
And I decided I'm not going there. You tell me when the time is right. And so that is now. So I had the work accredited in 2014, and I've accredited a number of practitioners. And then COVID, and so I took a break for a few years, and I just woke up one day about 6 weeks ago, and I went, you know what, Tash, it's time. 3 days later, Dr. Vishal Rao messaged me on WhatsApp and said hi. And I thought, okay, is this a scam? And so I just sent a smiley face back. And then he said, it's been a long time. And I thought, okay, this is Vishal. And he said, can we chat? And we chatted the next day. And he said, let's do this podcast. And I knew then that Arakira was behind this because I hadn't spoken with Vishal for 2 years. And because 2 years ago wasn't the right time. Then he just started this ball rolling, and it was at that time that I met you, and I look for the synchronicities. I look for the signs that are informing me that I'm on that path that God wants me to be on. And I'm excited. I'm really excited for what's coming.
I love that. And I just want to, so I'm just going to mute you over on TikTok because they're getting feedback when I speak between us. So I'll unmute you in a second. But I just, first of all, there's so much that I want to say there. There's lots of pieces that were dropping in for me. I feel like for you, and this is what I, in my teaching, so one thing I say to people is stay curious. Right? Don't just expect the answers to come. Ask why, right? Ask for more information if you don't understand it. Ask them to show you a different way.
Yeah.
And I love that you have it like that story just is like a constant story of curiosity, right? Show me the way. And there's also this other piece of, I suppose, allowing yourself to be led by spirit and trusting in the process and the unfolding.
Yeah.
And then there was the other piece that dropped in there where you're like, okay, I'm ready. And it's like, okay, well, physically, like consciously, you think you're ready, right? And then they showed you something. You're like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. And it's like, okay, you just tell me when it's time and I'll just trust that.
Yeah.
And then all of this alignment in the last 6 weeks has started flowing through. And it's like, right, now is the time.
Yeah.
So with Arakira, that is a modality that you use for healing. Do you teach that as a modality?
I do. Yeah.
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 And is that that's what you got to, so you were accredited to teach that back in
2014.
14, yeah.
Yeah. It's so with the Arakira, it's not just the healing techniques that I've created, and how they happened was, I said how that person said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm thinking something." And then when another person came with the same symptoms, I had the idea, well, if me thinking that vision impacted the person in a positive way, what if I think that vision again and connect with that person? Will I get the same result? The answer is yes. And so I've got over 50, maybe 60 techniques that I know are repeatable because I've been doing them in my client sessions, and people get big eyes and they go, how did I do that? And I'd say, well, actually, I taught you how to do it and you've done your own healing.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm doing the healing. It's almost like I'm making the music, but they're playing the
So
music.
it's like you're the conduit.
I am.
And then they, like, their bodies are the ones that are opening and receiving it. And then it's like, it's, I find, I feel like there's two different, I might just can you see on TikTok the microphone? I might get you to unmute yourself.
Okay, done.
Yeah, perfect. So I get the sense that there's two types of healers in the world. One set that are like wounded healers that feel like they're the ones doing the healing. And what I truly believe is a healer is ones that understand they're the conduit of the healing energy, however that flows, like whatever type of healing that is that comes through. And their body, it's like we're empowering them, even at an unconscious level, to allow their bodies to move that energy to wherever it needs to go, right? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, I guess what's different about Arakira for me, what would be the standout feature of Arakira? And I would say that I found the key or the doorway to consciously entering the holographic body, doing the work in there, and then sending that frequency into the physical body and affecting change. And, I've got this story that just still blows my mind. I had a lady come from Tasmania for a retreat, and she wanted to learn some of these techniques. And I said to her, by the way, have you got a scar or that has numbness on the scar? And she said, well, yes, actually. She said, I cut my finger as a child and it's been numb ever since. And I can only go like that. And I said, okay, hold your finger like this. And I guided her through the opening of the door. And I said, now I want you to do these things. And now I want you to do this thing to close the door and send the frequency back to your hand. And then I said, tell me if you can move your finger. No word of a lie. I wish I had videoed it. I had the evidence. She went like this.
Wow.
So she hadn't been able to do that for 40 years. And, you know, I have this secret that feels like a secret. How do I get it out to the world? And Vishal came to me and said, let's talk. And so there's nothing better than a surgeon who believes in your work to share that. So I have so much, Christy, that it's 38 years of so much that when I am teaching Arakira, yes, there's techniques, but also I'm teaching people how to plug into and many people have said to me, Julie, Arakira is pure Christ consciousness. And I said, oh my gosh, can you feel that? Because I believe that, but I never tell people that. And they said, no, it's that. And so you're learning how to tap into the field or the stream of consciousness and be empowered. My goal is to have everyone empowered. And Vishal and I have called our podcast Insourcing Your Cancer Healing. And the insourcing is you've got to do the inner work. So Arakira teaches people how to do that inner work in a way that is deliberate, in a way that is constructive, in a way that is nobody else's business but yours. And it's an incredible, powerful journey of going within. And so I guess Arakira is a spiritual journey as well.
It definitely sounds like that.
Yeah.
It definitely sounds like that. There's something else that you talk a lot about is limiting beliefs. Can limiting beliefs be deeply ingrained in our subconscious? And how can individuals identify and become aware of their own limiting beliefs that might be holding them back? Because I feel like this ties into our healing, right?
It does. And that's what Tash and I have been developing over the last 3.5 years, is helping people identify those limiting beliefs. And how you know if you have a limiting belief or a triggering belief is by how you respond to your outer world. And it's not always going to be in an angry way or in a sad way. It can be subtle. And so it's about becoming the observer of you and how you relate to your external world. And sometimes those beliefs, the dots don't join up for you. And that's where having a coach or a mentor or a therapist
absolutely
gifted in joining your dots and guide you to having an aha moment or a revelatory moment of, oh, I didn't even hear the words that were coming out of my mouth. I didn't realize that was connected to that. And so everyone has limiting beliefs, right? It's how we grow. And how do you unpack your limiting beliefs? It's with deep curiosity. And you've
Yeah.
touched on curiosity before. And it's curiosity of, wow, why did I respond that way? Or why do I feel this way? Or what part did I play in that
Mm.
drama? And when I learned Cartman's drama triangle,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if your listeners or my listeners have learned about that, but Cartman created the drama triangle to help with the 12 steps in Alcoholics Anonymous. And when I had that explained to me, there's the victim, the rescuer, and the persecutor. And then that's your drama. There's 3 sides of the drama. I went, oh my God, my whole life I've been the rescuer. So I'm a recovering rescuer. I just put my hand
Me
up.
too.
And a lot of healers are rescuers. And
Yeah.
like when I discovered that I was this recovering rescuer or a rescuer, I felt deep shame that I was actually hindering someone's progress. I was trying to have them avoid their journey
Yeah.
because I could see what was happening. And so now I have this belief, it's your journey. If you want help, then ask me for help. But that's the first step to healing, is to
Mm-hmm.
ask for help. And so
Yes.
when my friend Madeline said, Julie, do you know about that? I said, no. She explained it to me. It was one of those, milestone moments. She said, well, when you look at any drama and you ask yourself, what role am I playing in the drama? That actually brings you up to being the observer, because you're looking down on the drama. And it is only as the observer can you become the creator of your life. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that is incredibly powerful. And
So powerful.
I have never forgot that. And if I do, I have my daughter who reminds me. And she just go, Mum, did you just ask? And I went, oh, no.
Oh, that's right.
And so it's important to have someone
Mm,
who reminds you to ask the questions.
absolutely.
And so I absolutely am passionate about the whole journey. And it's not just about some techniques that you can shift the energy in your body and then
Mm-mm.
have no pain or no discomfort, or
No.
you feel euphoric. It's not about that. It's about the moment to moment self-understanding that it generates
Yeah.
in you and your clients. And when I first had that vision of all those thousands of people, it was like, oh, so I have to help the world, and one person at a time. And that was incredibly overwhelming. And
Mm.
I didn't know about boundaries. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't know that I could say no. I didn't know that I didn't have to work with everyone who asked me.
Mm.
So what happened was, I just lost my train. I didn't.
I think,
Oh,
yeah, go.
yeah, I do remember. I had a vision, another vision, and I had a vision of a drop of water coming down very slowly and landing on a still pond. And I saw the ripple, the first ripple, and then
Mm.
the next ripple, and the next ripple, until the ripple reached the edge of the water and where the land met the water. But kind of the guidance in my head said, Julie, that ripple doesn't end at the water's edge.
Mm-mm.
It just keeps going. And then I sat back and I went, oh, I don't have to help everyone in the world. I just focus on that first ripple.
Yeah.
And then I teach them to focus on their first ripple.
Yep.
and it just ripples like that. And then I thought, well, there's 6 degrees of separation. That's science. They know
Mm-hmm.
that. So I just have to create 6 ripples, and I'm helping the world. So
Mm.
that's kind of underpinning what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I love that. And I think, there's a couple of things that I'll go back to the observer in a second, but I want to speak about the ripples because, I think when we feel like we have to heal the world or fix the world, it's kind of, it does. It's like, it's overwhelming. It's like, well, why am I given this gift if that's not what, but when we create a modality, like you've created a modality, and like for me, I teach people how to read and how to give readings with integrity. Like, and I talk about boundaries and energetic integrity and like all the foundations before we even get into psychic reading to make sure that they understand how to come into integral alignment with the energy. Because when you do that, happens. That's a ripple that happens in your life. But when I teach people that, I know the changes, that's the ripple. That's the first ripple. That's all I work on, because I know each and every one of those people are implementing those changes, not just with spirit. The most humbling part of what I do is witnessing that like translate into their life and create change. That's their ripple. And and that's such a small sort of pond there, where you, like, when we create a modality, we just teach people to go and use that modality. And your 5 people or 100 people have 5 or 100 people that they like. It could be a small scale or a big scale. And when you teach a modality to go out there, that's where change happens. Like, some of us are here to be creators of change, and others are here to hold the change and just work with the healing. And there's all this grand scale of things. But you also mentioned before about becoming the observer. I was in Dharmasala on a retreat. Okay, Julie, I'm just gonna mute you because I'm echoing again over here. You'll just have to unmute in a second when you go to speak. So I was in Dharmasala in India at a retreat there for 10 days, and I had one of my two of my main teachers were there, and I was talking about meditation. And we were doing moving meditations and like amazing stuff. But when I go into silence, I was like, I'm really frustrated and angry that I can't quieten the mind. And he said, Christine, you're not meant to quieten the mind. You just don't attach it to anything. Just become the observer. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he explained something to me that literally, like, I use now, not just in meditation, but in life itself. He said, now when I'm in, because I said, can you explain what you mean by the observer? I don't understand what you mean. And he said, well, when I'm in meditation and I'm frustrated, because I get frustrated too sometimes, and I'm like, really? Like, I was like, how could you? Like, you look like completely zen. How do you get frustrated? Because it's just a feeling. It's an emotion. It's energy that's wanting to move through you, right? It's energy in motion. It's okay. He goes, so what I do is this technique where I just separate myself, and it's like I'm floating up here, and I allow myself to feel everything, and I literally become the observer. And I've been told that this is a really advanced technique, but my mind sees in pictures anyway. So I literally became the observer. And I remember how profound it was when I could actually watch myself go through and process what I was without ego. Because when you sort of remove yourself, the ego is not there, and it's in that non-egoic space. And I just remember watching myself in this one moment, going through the frustration and almost like giggling to myself, like, I could see the pieces coming together. So it's really important to be able to not attach to things. That was really when I learned to let go of the attachment to what's going on in the moment. Trust, and just sort of get curious. Where do you want to flow? What is your purpose? What do you need to do? And like drop into that sensation and allow it to move. And we can apply that in so many different aspects of our life, right?
Absolutely. And it's your journey. It's not even something that you need to share with anyone else. it's your journey. And as the teacher, and as you are as well, that process that you had that revelation about, no one can teach you how to do the mechanics of that. Only you can do that. And as a teacher, I'm very conscious that I don't teach.
Just unmute
Do
yourself.
I need to wear?
Yeah, just unmute.
Oops. No. Is it working there on TikTok?
You're still muted. So just a little microphone
yeah,
button.
got it. Yeah. Can they? Yeah. So as the teacher, it's our role to guide the student, but not tell the student what they're going to experience, right? And this is so important for everyone listening. If you are teaching something that they need a revelation or an aha, don't teach too far beyond where they are on their journey, because then they become in their head, they become strategic, and they try to make something happen strategically, and it can't happen. And I remember when I was in a spiritual community, I was asked to surrender. And so for 3 years, every single day, I tried to surrender. And, my learning out of my 3-year odyssey was you can't strategically surrender. Surrender is a moment that's between you and God, basically.
Absolutely.
And so I'm now, because of that experience, I'm now cautious of what I say to people. And I invite people to share their experiences with me. And then I will say, well, see that right there, that's true surrender. Or see that right there, that's this. And if you want to learn more about this experience that you've had, go and do your research. But I don't tell people about experiences that they need to strive for.
No. The one thing that I do is
Very-
teach from my experience,
Yeah,
but I guide them into an experience because we're all different
that's right.
energy. We're all different frequencies. We're going to experience things in a different way. And, and there's sort of like there's stuff that's lost in the interpretation of what an actual experience is. So I think it's really important as a teacher to or even as a student looking for a teacher, to find a teacher that is going to allow you to experience something in its wholeness that is unique to you, not unique to them.
I absolutely love how you worded that. I love it. And that is the sort of teacher that you're looking for. Yes.
Absolutely. So on that note, our listeners would love to probably learn more about your upcoming launch of your modality certification. I'm assuming that is the Akira modality that is coming up soon. Can you tell us more about how they can find out about that? How it can empower them as energy healers to make a difference in the world?
Absolutely. So we have spent the last few weeks creating a webinar that has been recorded that covers off on 21 different elements. And so we literally are about to launch that webinar. I don't even remember the name of the webinar. So really, really, my apologies. But if you go to julielewin.com.
So I've got
or
in
Julian Tash,
juliantash.com.
Yeah, Julian Tash. we will have it on there. julieandtash.com. We will have it on there. And yes,
Yep.
that is my phone number there.
Oh my God, I just realized your phone number's there.
That's okay. Here, you're welcome to leave that there. But here's the thing. If anyone rings my phone number and I don't know who you are, I will not pick up. Just send me a text first. And but the best way is if you want to connect with me,
connect through the website or
go
through her
through my website.
socials.
Yes, and
Definitely through the website.
You can go to my Instagram and connect with me there.
And over on TikTok. So the people over here on TikTok that are watching now, go follow Julie. Don't forget to follow her. And have you got a link in your profile on your bio with?
We have a whole bunch of things in there.
Beautiful.
There's free things in there. You can have some energy clearings. There's all sorts of magic in there. So yes, go to my TikTok profile and click on the link and have some fun in there.
Yeah, beautiful. She's got lots of, I've actually been on her website, Julie. So Julie works with her daughter Tash, which I only just discovered, and she has heaps of freebies over there. There's all stuff, even on clearing entities and there's everything. Just go and have a look and download that, get to know her. She's an amazing human. Julie, I feel like I know you from somewhere. I know you're out Ipswich way, aren't you?
I live in Warwick now. But I lived in Brisbane for 20 odd years. Yes.
That's where I lived.
Yes. So Christy, I do feel like I've met you as well.
There you go.
In the flesh.
Yeah. I got that sense when I saw your picture. I was like, and your name, I was like, I haven't put it together yet, but I feel like I don't know. We'll probably land sooner or later.
We
will. Yeah, we will. Beautiful. So again, Julie's website is julieandtash.com. Mm-hmm. There is an absolute treasure trove of valuable resources there. Actually, why don't you tell us just briefly about, there is a freebie in there that really intrigued me, which was 44 ways to energetically cleanse your home after toxic people have visited.
Yes.
I'm sure we all can relate and need some of that.
Yes. And
flush away all that bad juju.
That's it. And so how that came about, I did a TikTok video and about the ways that I knew, and all these people seriously were saying, oh, I do this. So we collated all of that into a document that is incredibly powerful. And Tash is a graphic designer and she's like coded it all and put it into all different categories. And so I became aware of all of this back in the 1990s. And I realized that I wasn't clearing my energy, but my house energy as well. And somebody taught me about using a candle. It's on my YouTube channel, guys.
Wow.
Unreal. And I did it on TikTok as well. And, caused a bit of controversy because I don't sage. And that's okay. Everyone has their own way. And so the candle, I can see where there's the negative energy because the smoke goes black. Black comes down the candle. And so you stay in that spot until there's no black. And I know this is for real because I ran a retreat here in Warwick in a house that was built in the 1860s. So that's like, 100, I don't know, a long time, 120.
A long time ago. 150 years ago.
A long time, maybe. Guys, yes. And so everyone arrived on Sunday afternoon. I'd never met most of the women before. It was my first retreat. I was nervous and I thought, oh my God, they all hate me. You know how it is when you do something new.
Yeah.
And I came in the next morning and they all said, well, I didn't have a very good night's sleep. And I said, look, I did that on purpose because now we're going to cleanse this building. And everyone got given a candle and they had to do their room. It was full of antique furniture. I said, this is what we're going to do. I allowed 5 minutes for that little exercise.
Yeah.
Over an hour later, we are still going. And someone came screaming out of the bathroom and went, oh, there's something in there. And I went, oh my God, this stuff is real. And so I went in and I said, okay, let's do it together. So we cleaned the whole building. Everyone slept well after that.